today, which is it's a painstaking task for us. We've got a lot to do today. We just barely got done planting some of our Roma tomatoes, the bigger, beefier ones that we call the Goffs. You'll remember that from a previous video. We just barely got done planting what we're going to plant. We planted about 70 of those. Now we're getting into the area that it has been more covered, which is going to take a little bit to rake back the cover, and then we're going to start, we're going to keep on planting these Romas, these Goff Romas, in what was a covered area. So it'll give us a chance to see how each one does. The old chicken area, and then the covered area.
Little things will kill your garden.
You can have a really big...
Those are grubs.
Go take them to the chickens. Oh, here's another one.
This thing is called an auger, and this is a specific, I mean, usually you see ones bigger that take 2 people to operate, and they're planting a tree. This one's just a miniature one that has, it's actually has a drill attachment. You can just hook it into your drill. This really saves on energy and time. If you don't have to bother with little hand shovels, this works great. Once we've got the holes all dug, what we like to do is go back and fill each hole with water. Then we have a lot of eggs on our homestead, so once we eat our eggs, instead of just tossing our eggshells out, we put them into a bucket to dry out in the bucket. Then we get them all good and crushed. Then we grab a handful of those crushed eggshells, throw it in the hole. Eggshells are a great source of calcium for your plants, or sometimes we'll just toss them in whole. That works too. Once we toss the whole eggs into the hole, we just make sure to crush that egg. The insides and stuff, it'll feed the ground. The calcium will be good for the plant. It'll make for a stronger plant. Eggs are an awesome addition to your plants. If you do decide to do ground cover, one thing about the stuff we do, it doesn't always get enough time to break totally down during the winter. So what we end up having to do is shove a lot of it out of the way. It's great for covering your ground and trying to stave off the weeds and also retain moisture, but you can't plant in that stuff. You have to get down to the dirt. And don't worry, even though this stuff isn't broken down quite yet, it'll continue to sit on the ground in the heat, in the rain, and break down, and eventually it'll turn into that nice rich soil that your plants want. Time for a break. Break time's over. Time to get back at it, I guess. One cool thing about tomatoes is you want to plant them as deep as you can. That's all right to do, because you know how tomato their stalk is all fuzzy. Each one of those little tiny fibers, if you plant them deep in the ground, like if you want to cover them all the way up to where there's leaf at the top, if you want to plant all the rest of the stem down in the ground, that's okay, because all that little fuzzy stuff will turn into root underneath the ground and become a much stronger root for the tomato to grow with. You see down into the hole where we finally get all of the cover out of the way when the soil starts. That's where we'll start digging the holes with the auger. But that stuff is just rich down there. It's been sitting, letting and ground cover has been trapping the moisture down here all winter. Stuff right up against the ground has been breaking down, just adding to that rich layer of soil. Get the hole dug. And again, you can make these holes pretty good and deep if you're planting tomatoes, because those fuzzy parts, again, will just turn into roots if they're covered with ground right up against them. Toss in an egg. And just gonna go ahead and use the auger to break the egg, or you can use a hand shovel, whatever. We've used a stick before just to stir it around with the soil in there. The egg shell and the egg yolk and all the other stuff in there. All right, fill the hole up with water. We usually like to get it as full as it can go, almost brimming out the hole. Then we let it soak in for a little bit. Alright, once the water has soaked in, it doesn't actually take too long. This stuff's soaked in by the time we were done watering all the holes in the row. Get it all nice and goopy now, see? Use the shovel if you don't want to get your hands super messy. Also helps get the hole a little bit deeper. Get that stuff out of the way. Go ahead and drop your plant in. Oops, must have been another egg. Go ahead and drop your plant in. Push it as deep as it'll go without breaking the thing. Like that. And if you get some of those leaves buried, it's okay as long as you leave these top ones to get some sun. Gently push the soil in, down sort of. Just where you feel like there's good soil contact with the stalk of the plant. And that's it. There's your tomato. Well, thanks for joining us for that fun planting adventure. We're all done planting for the day. All in all, we planted 93 Goff Romas and 67 of our Kellogg tomatoes. So all together, that's 160 tomatoes. That's two different varieties. We'll get to some of the other varieties some other day. But I think that's where we're gonna call it. It's been a super busy day, but very productive. And hopefully you join us again for another planting video, or be sure to check out some of our other videos. Until then, we'll see you next time. Take it easy.